was actually particularly concerned about the last pleading filed by the former counsel patungkol doon sa mga aligasyon na ilang beses na siya natumba sa loob ng detention facility. Ibig sabihin, yung sense of balance niya is at risk. In fact, they're asking the court to disclose the CCTV footages which may prove na yun nga, nahihirapan siyang maglakad kung totoo man yung sinabi doon sa motion na yan. And I think the video, if ever they would allow, would show whether or not talagang nahihirapan siya. No? I mean, these are indications na kailangan tugunan ng ICC yung well-being and welfare ng isang detainee sa loob ng detention facility.
Nasa linya po ng ating komunikasyon ngayong umaga si Attorney Martin Delgado III, Legal Counsel po ng dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Attorney, good morning. May buntag, Jade at Admar po ang inyong mga kasama. Maraming salamat sa inyong oras.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Jade at Admar, at sa inyong mga tagapanood at tagapakinig.
Opo, Attorney, i-komento lang muna doon sa naging sagot po no, ng Office of the Solicitor General kaugnay nga dito sa kaso ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Sabi po ng OSG o hinihingi po ng OSG sa Korte Suprema na ibasura yung petisyon ni Senator Bato na naglalayong harangin ng pagpapatupad nga ng warrant of arrest laban sa kanya mula po sa ICC. Anong komento po ninyo muna dito, Attorney?
Unang-una, understandable because that is really the mandate of the OSG to defend governmental actions, no? Yung mga panuntunan at saka mga gawain na mga nasa gobyerno. That's the primary mandate of the OSG. But having said that, what the OSG was actually trying to argue before the court was to find legal justification doon sa ginawa ng NBI sa pagpunta sa Senado and tried to arrest Senator Bato. Since day one po, and even until now, ang position po ni Senator Bato is that hindi niya kinikilala yung jurisdiction ng ICC. I think everyone knows that. Pangalawa, he is for accountability. And for that matter, it is the Philippine judicial system that should hear and decide the cases, if there are, against him. I say if there are because there has been no case filed here in the Philippines against Senator Bato. So, yun po ang posisyon ni Senator Bato dyan on the matter.
Opo. Yung pangunahing argumento ng OSG din po, Attorney, laban po kay Senator Bato, itinuturing na fugitive mula sa hustisya, tsaka legal daw yung pag-aresto sa ilalim ng batas ng Pilipinas at hindi kailangan daw ng local na warrant at walang paglabag sa kanyang karapatan.
That is the ground where Senator Bato will take issue with against the OSG's position, no? And hayaan na natin yung Korte Suprema na to decide on the matter. That being said, ang ganito kasi ang pananaw ko lang ito. I mentioned earlier though that the OSG is supposed to defend the actions of Philippine government authorities. But the actions of the Philippine government authorities, as we all know, is based on a foreign warrant issued by a foreign or international tribunal. So, by analogy or by implication, the OSG is also trying to defend the actions of the ICC as against Senator Bato, of which the ICC is not part of any Philippine institution for that matter. No? So yun lang, napaisip lang ako doon na kung bakit hayaan na yung isang foreign warrant without referral to the domestic processes of the Philippine judicial system, no? Under Article 3, Section 2 of our Constitution, na ang pwede lang magpalabas ng warrant at kikilalanin ng lahat ng Pilipino sa loob ng Pilipinas ay yung galing sa Korte ng Pilipinas.
Opo, malinaw po yun, attorney. Dako lang po tayo dito sa kaso naman po ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Nasa ang stage na po tayo dito sa kanyang kaso dyan po sa ICC, attorney?
I've been monitoring events sa ICC, and as we all know, he already has a new counsel in the person of Attorney Peter Haynes. And I was told that the team has been preparing, no, for the for trial. But the new development that I read from the news is that he's asking the court for a review on the mental and psychological state of the client. No, it appears meron mga bagong lumabas na nakita ng bagong abogado na kailangan tingnan uli ng ICC whether he would be able to sustain himself to appear during the court proceedings. Kaya he's asking that the trial, which was originally set sometime September, be reset sometime on November, pending the request or the motion of the defense team to review the mental and psychological condition of the former president.
Opo, at possible din ho itong maipresenta, attorney, at possible din na kung may makita man kung sakaling hindi able ang dating Pangulo, ay maaantala na naman po yung magiging trial nitong kaso ng dating Pangulo.
I really am not sure on whether that would further delay or not, no? Kasi sa ating sistema sa loob ng Pilipinas, pwede namang hindi mag-appear yung akusado sa korte. Sa ICC, accordingly, the accused has to appear before the court during the trial phase of the proceeding. As I mentioned, dito, the accused has the option, in fact, has the right whether to appear or not. And even on the matter of, and this is very crucial in all criminal proceedings before the Philippine court, na kailangan ma-identify yung akusado. So even at the identity of the accused can be waived on account of the absence of, can be admitted, by the way, I'm sorry. The absence, his absence in the court before the Philippine court may be waived, but the counsels or the parties may stipulate as to the identity. I'm just bringing the point na pwedeng hindi mag-attend yung akusado pag dito sa Pilipinas yung kaso. Pero sa ICC, kailangan daw umappear. And having said that, I think the reason why yung bagong abogado have to seek review on the condition of the former president before he would be tasked to appear before the court for the trial.
Opo, kung mapatunayang hindi po fit to stand trial si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, attorney, at may makikita nga doon sa kanyang medical records na hindi siya fit. Pero ano yung possible magiging epekto po niyan? Maaari ho bang pauwiin ang dating Pangulo dahil po sa kanyang karamdaman at sa kanyang edad na rin? Pwede ho bang i-consider yon ng ICC?
Actually, merong rules under the ICC where every 120 days, the ICC or the detention facility would review the physical and mental state of the detainee for any what they call quote-unquote changed circumstance, no, of the detainee. That being said, the court may take action of any changed circumstances kung merong pagbabago sa kondisyon ng isang detainee. And that includes, among others, paglipat sa kanya sa labas ng detention. An option of which, as he has been praying for since last year, is interim release kung sakasakali, no? So those are some of the options that the defense team can take, but I don't want to preempt the actions or the strategy that the defense team is seeking right now, no? Pero yun nga, kung hindi pwede manatili siya sa detention facility dahil sa kalagayan ng isang detainee, pwedeng iutos ng ICC na mailagay siya sa isang lugar where maayos at ma-address yung kondisyon ng isang detainee.
Bago ko lang ipasa kay partner Admar Attorney, hindi naman po pwedeng pilitin ng ICC ang dating Pangulo siguro na magsalita kung hindi na po siya fit at kung makikita ng doon sa kanyang medical records sa talagang sobrang tanda na at talagang malubha na ang kanyang karamdaman.
Uh, you mentioned about his condition, ano, and I was actually particularly concerned about the last pleading filed by the former counsel. Patungkol doon sa mga aligasyon na ilang beses na siya natumba sa loob ng detention facility. Ibig sabihin, yung sense of balance niya is at risk. In fact, they're asking the court to disclose the CCTV footages which may prove na yun nga, nahihirapan siyang maglakad kung totoo man yung sinabi doon sa motion na yan. And I think the video, if ever they would allow, would show whether or not talagang nahihirapan siya. No? I mean, these are indications na kailangan tugunan ng ICC yung well-being and welfare ng isang detainee sa loob ng detention facility.
Attorney, mayong buntag si Admar po ito. Balikan ko lang po yung issue doon kay Senador Bato, Attorney. Kasi during sa mismong araw ng nagkaroon po ng gulo sa Senado, naglabas po ng pahayag ang si BBM, no? Kaugnay dito na kanyang kinikilala yung naging resolusyon po ng Korte Suprema. Pero sa kabila nito, panay pa rin yung ang treatment ng law enforcers, law enforcement agency dito kay Senador Bato de la Rosa na pugante, meron pa ngang mga person of interest daw, yung mga tumulong sa kanya para makawala doon. Sa tingin niyo po, tumutugma ang kanilang mga pahayag, mga hakbang sa naging pagkilala ng Marcos Jr. sa resolusyon po ng Korte Suprema?
May isang bagay lang ako gustong puntuhin doon sa sinabi mo, no, Atmar.
Apo.
Yung patungkol sa pugante or fugitive from justice. Insofar as that term, whether layman's term or legal term is concerned, ang ibig sabihin po niyan, sa Bisaya pa, ni ikyas sa balaod. So the law that we're referring to here is the domestic law. Kaya nga, sinasabi nga ni Senator Bato when he appeared before the Senate last Monday na hindi niya kinikilala yung foreign warrant, and rightly so. As I mentioned earlier, ang kinikilala lang po natin na warrant that would be issued is the one coming from the Philippine court. Klarong-klaro sa Constitution. So if ever there are foreign warrants that has to be enforced in the Philippines, the Philippine authority should refer that to the appropriate Philippine court. And doon pagdidebatihan kung may basihan pa ba yung foreign warrant na yan to be enforced. And even assuming that there is valid reason to enforce a foreign warrant, hindi po yung foreign warrant ang i-enforce. The Philippine judge, it finds reason and logic to support the foreign warrant, will issue a warrant. Ibig sabihin, yung warrant of arrest ng Philippine court ang igagalang at i-enforce ng Philippine authority. I've been saying this, if I may, if there is one lesson to be learned doon sa nangyari sa ating mahal na Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the one lesson that we need to learn is that it should never happen to another Filipino citizen. Anyone, and there is no distinction as to who that Filipino citizen may be.
Opo, Attorney, bilang abogado naman po, ano po yung nakikita niyo pong basehan? Meron bang legal na basehan o wala? Yung pagpapasuspinde ng ombudsman dito po sa empleyado po ng Senado, itong sa USAA po, Attorney?
Yun po ang hindi ko maintindihan because the Sergeant at Arms is under the a separate branch of government now. Ibig sabihin, yung Senado. the one who would have control and jurisdiction over the sergeant at arms would be the Senate. And it is up for the Senate to address any issue, disciplinary or otherwise, as regards the actions of the sergeant at arms.
Opo, pati rin yung pagpapasubpina doon sa CCTV ay sabi ng ombudsman ay hindi po inaprobahan, hindi sumang-ayon dito ang Senado. Pero yung Senado naman ay nagbigay ng kopya naman ng CCTV dito po sa PNP. Maging yun din po ba ay tama ang ginawa ng Senado ukol po dito sa hiling ng ombudsman na isubpina yung CCTV po, Attorney?
I fully agree with the action of the Senate on that score. Kasi yung when that happened, obviously may crime scene, may putukan so may crime scene. So ang unang magpapasok diyan at mag-iimbestiga yung PNP through the SOCO, and the Senate jurisdictionally is under the Southern Police District. So tama lang na as requested, binigyan ng kopya ng CCTV yung Southern Police District. Hindi naman sinasabi, may ibang nagsasabi na ayaw ibigay. No? In fact, may nadali pa nga si Senator Jingo Estrada. Mistakenly, misquoted na i-secure yung CCTV. So, yung mga iba-ibang mga kwento, magkamali-mali tayo ng interpretasyon. But what is clear is that the CCTV was provided to the proper police authority who is supposed to investigate what happened inside the Senate.
Opo. Pero sa mga narinig niyo po na mga pagrarason ng NBI, ng Senado, OSAA, pati yung ombudsman at iba pa mga involved, lalo na sa side po ng executive po, Attorney, nagtutugma-tugma po ba yung kanilang mga paliwanag o nagbabanggaan na po at kaya nabanggit ni Senate President Cayetano na grabe yung pagsisinungaling?
Alam mo, unang nagsalita pa si Senate President Cayetano, natawa na ako dun sa lumabas sa Malacanang. Anong sinabi ng PCO? Nag-fire ng warning shot yung isang on one side, kaya napilitan magputok ng warning sight nung kabila. So ano ibig sabihin? Tingnan nyo na lang ano yung nasabi dun sa PCO. It's an exchange of warning shots. Wala pa lang arm encounter kung ganon. Doon pa lang mapakabot ka sa ulo Ano ba talagang totoo dito? No? The point of the matter also is that the Senate is the exclusive domain. The Senate grounds, the Senate premises is the exclusive domain and jurisdiction of the separate branch of government. So I hope that the executive branch of government will respect the co-equal independence of the Senate. And that includes having to respect the premises of the Senate.
Opo, at mismo ang NBI Director po nagsabi na dapat daw nakipag-coordinate ang OSAA. May number naman daw si General Aplasca sa kanya. Pero sino po ba dapat talaga yung mag-initiate ng coordination po? Si Senado ba or si OSAA ba or ang NBI na nandoon sa lugar kung nasaan ang Senado?
As I've said earlier, the Senate building and the premises, which includes the parking space and everything there that is controlled by the Senate, is under the exclusive domain of the Senate. And for anyone, as in this case, to enforce a warrant on a sitting senator, sila yung magko-coordinate sa Senado. Hindi po baliktad.
Po, Attorney, lipat lang po ako dito sa issue po sa ICC, lalo na't nais din po ng bagong abogado na magkaroon ulit ng pag-check sa kalusugan po ng Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Pero meron pong isang suspect po na hawak din ng ICC ang namatay po doon sa bilangguan. Ito po ay suspect sa genocide sa Rwanda at meron din po siyang grabing sakit, pero ang reason na hindi na siya napalaya at nakapunta sa kanyang bansa is mismo yung bansa rin ayaw na rin siyang tanggapin. Kaya't though hindi na umusad yung kanyang kasi hindi na siya fit para sa trial, pero nanatili siya sa posisyon or sa kamay ng ICC dahil nga po wala pong bansa na tumatanggap po sa kanya. Attorney, kung ganito ang mangyari po sa kay Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, nakikita niyo po ba na talagang sino po yung magde-decide kung tatanggapin pa ba siya ng bansa, ang gobyerno lang o mismo ang taong bayan na maglalahad talaga ng kagustuhan? Halimbawa lang po na mag-deteriorate na ng husto ang kalusugan ng Pangulo po, Attorney.
Mahirap tanggapin na may mangyari sa kanya sa loob ng detention facility ng ICC. And you know what I mean. Minamahal po siya ng marami. Milyon-milyon ng mga Pilipino. Hindi lang po sa loob ng Pilipinas. Lalong-lalo na rin sa labas ng Pilipinas. Mga Pilipino sa labas ng Hague, pumupunta sa Hague. Nasa lupa man o nasa barko. Nasa Europa o nasa Asia, if they have a chance to go to The Hague, just to be as near to the president, they will go to The Hague and support him. That being said, kung hindi na kaya ng ICC na tugunan yung kalagayan ng presidente, the Filipino people is more than willing to accept him and take care of him.
Opo. Attorney, huli na lang si Jade po ulit ito. Kung sakali pong magdidesisyon ang Supreme Court doon sa petisyon ni Senator Bato de la Rosa, possible ho bang makakaapekto rin yan? May domino effect doon sa mga nauna na pong mga petisyon na inihain po kaugnay dito sa kaso ni FPRRD?
If the government will continue to take the position of the ICC, which as I have said earlier, is quite strange because the ICC is not part of the institution of government in the Philippines. It is not so defined in the Philippine Constitution. So we should not take a position that is foreign to us. No? But if it happens, sa pananaw ng ICC, may mga tinatawag na other indirect co-perpetrators doon sa kaso na yan. Kasi it's possible that the other co-perpetrators might also be, the ICC might also address the issue of the other co-perpetrators. Pero balikan ko lang yung sasabihin ko, sila na mismo ang nagsabi na yung, I would like to put this in context, yung trigger, yung legal trigger ng foreign warrant was based on the investigation. The investigation was based on a request, on the approval of the request of the Office of the Trial Prosecutor of the ICC. All of this happened 2 years after we left the ICC. So, yun lang po ang pabalik-balik na sinasabi namin. Ano po yung legal na basihan na yung isang bagay, yung ICC warrant, lumabas on the basis of those antecedents na nangyari naman after we left. Doon yun ang punot dulo ng aming argumento.
Opo. Attorney, ano yung huling mensahe po ninyo? Mensahe po ninyo sa lahat po ng mga kababayan, mga Pilipino na until now ay umaasa na makakauwi, makakabalik pa dito sa Pilipinas ang dating Pangulong Duterte.
Please continue to pray for him, for his well-being, for his safety, and for his good health. We all know that he is old and unwell. Sino naman ang malakas ang kalusugan at 81 years old and under detention? And he's not getting the food that he likes as a Filipino, no? So, yun po ang panawagan ko palagi, to continue to pray for him. Kahit na pag alam niya may mga Pilipino sa labas ng detention facility, sinasabi niya na huwag na kayo magsakripisyo, umuwi na kayo. pero hindi mo mapigilan yung pagmamahal at pagsusuporta at panalangin para kay Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte, ating Tatay Digong. So please continue to pray for him.